Hey, what's going on, everyone? Let's check out this video about what's inside the Sydney Opera House. I've always wondered too. I've always found also like infrastructure projects and architecturally really interesting places, especially ones like this, where on the outside you wonder to yourself, like, how do they fit the stages and the opera houses? How do they fit the actual venue? Like, how does it work inside of there? Because it's such an interesting building. It's so iconic. I think it's a resounding success, all things considered, obviously, now that it's literally world famous, and it's pretty cool. Let's check it out. Sydney Opera House. I'm coming to you from Canada, by the way. My name is Mace. Let's go.
In this video, I'd like to give you a tour of what's on the inside
Whoa.
and what the building is used for. This is one of the most well-known structures in the world, so let's check it out. This video is sponsored by Brilliant.org. The Sydney Opera House is one of those buildings that's very well known, worldwide. Millions of people come to see it every year. It is a multi-venue performing arts center. They have concerts, plays, operas, movies, and some people even get married here. It's located in Sydney, Australia. Let's look at the globe. Here's the country of Australia, and this is the
I'm curious how many stages are inside, or how many venues.
state of New South Wales. And right on the coast is Sydney. This is where you'll find the Sydney Opera House. The year 2023 marks the 50th anniversary of the building, and it's been recently renovated with numerous improvements to the structure. This land has a rich history. For thousands of years, it's been inhabited by the Gadigal people.
Sydney Harbour. Remember Roy and HG and their segment on the Hello Boys
Of the land. This spot on the harbor used to be a small island. It goes by a few different names, but today it's most commonly
Dubba
called
Gully.
Bennelong Point. In the 1950s, they wanted to build an opera house here, so they had an international design competition. More than 200 entries came in from around the globe. The winner of the competition was Jorn Utzon, and he had a very unique design
The
for the opera
Norwegian?
house. Construction began in 1959 and took almost 15 years to complete, much longer than they had planned for. This was mainly due to budget and lack of planning. In 1966, disagreements with local government led to Jorn Utzon actually leaving the project and going back home, which was all the way back here in the country of Denmark.
Denmark.
The project was completed
Kinda
in
close.
1973, and unfortunately, Utzon was never able to return to see the finished building. A bit of a sad story, however, the Sydney Opera House would look very different if it weren't for him. The building is made up of sails, sometimes called shells. It almost looks like a large boat floating on the harbor. The sails were difficult to construct. The story goes that Utzon decided to construct them from pieces of the same sphere. This would make manufacturing easier and save on costs. Each sail is made up of pieces that are covered with ceramic tiles. There are more than 1 million of these tiles.
Whoa.
Sometimes during celebrations, there are colorful
That's cool. I'd love to see and feel kind of what the texture is like on the outside of the shells. They're ceramic tiles, like, are they? Yeah, damn. I never thought about that.
displays projected onto the sides of the sails. Let's take a look at the surrounding landscape. This is the Sydney Harbour, which is also part of Port Jackson. And this is the Sydney Harbour Bridge, also a famous sight to see. These waters will have plenty of boats entering and leaving Circular Quay. Right next to the Opera House, underneath the water, is the Sydney Harbour Tunnel. This gives another way to cross the waters in addition to the Sydney Harbour Bridge. There is also a large underground car
I definitely never knew that there was a tunnel underneath Sydney Harbour.
park that can hold over 1,000 vehicles. This is usually where you'll park your car if you decide to drive to the Sydney Opera House. The Opera House has a special underground entrance. Large deliveries will be taken down here. This is called the loading dock. Some areas around the building, this is the Western Broadwalk and the Northern Broadwalk. It's not as big, but there is also an Eastern Broadwalk as well. This means you can walk all the way around the building if you want. The area in front is called the forecourt. The main steps leading up to the building are called the monumental steps. During warmer parts of the year, these outdoor areas will also host many events and concerts. Underneath here is Portside Sydney. This is an outside restaurant with views straight out onto the harbor. This area here is called the Opera Bar, a place to eat, hang out, and enjoy amazing views of the harbor. These stairways lead down below ground, and you can see there's also an indoor portion to the bar. Coming down the line is the smaller restaurant called the House Canteen. This area is called the Lower Concourse. If you take a tour of the Opera House, this is usually where it starts. This is the Welcome Center, where you can buy tickets or pick up a gift to remember your trip. The escalators will take you up to the Covered Concourse. But first, let's take a step back here. The Sydney Opera House is made up of 3 separate structures: the Concert Hall, the Joan Sutherland Theatre, and the Bennelong Restaurant. Let's first look inside the Bennelong Restaurant. This is a great place to eat before or after a show. It has some of the best dining you can find in Sydney, Australia. Normally, you come into the restaurant through this entrance.
Is it a bit of a gong show, congestion-wise, or is it like, I assume you have to make a reservation to get like a table at this place if you were going to see a show afterwards?
Entryway. We'll see how you get here later in the video. The concert hall is the largest venue.
So how many seats in this hall? 5,000? 8,000? I don't know. Let's see.
The concert hall can fit up to 2,664 people. It has hosted famous international performers from around the world. In the very back, you can see the grand organ, which has over 10,000 pipes. This is the largest mechanical action organ in the world.
I saw a clip recently of Wu-Tang Clan. They were performing at the Opera House, which is pretty cool. Shout out to Wu-Tang. I'm going to see them next month. Actually, hell, this month. It's June.
Hanging above the stage are the pink acoustic reflectors. This was part of the recent renovations to the concert hall. This improves the sound by helping it bounce back to the stage and to the audience. So that's the concert hall, the biggest venue.
2,664, okay.
The other one over here is the Joan Sutherland Theatre, formerly known as the Opera Theatre.
How many fit in here?
The Joan Sutherland Theatre can fit up to 1,507 seats.
Good guess.
The stage houses events such as operas, plays, and concerts. The orchestra pit is down here, and this is the stage. In the back, there is also a giant stage lift for getting props up to this level. It appears to be 3 separate buildings, but they are, of course, connected underneath. There's a couple of different ways to get inside. You can go up the monumental steps and in through these doors here, or you can go underneath here. This is called the Covered Concourse. Earlier in the video, we looked at the Lowered Concourse, so if you're down here, then you can take the escalators up to the Covered Concourse. Then from here, you can find your way inside. This door is called the stage door. I imagine you have to be very important to enter through here. For the rest of us, you'll want to use one of these entrances. There will usually be security checkpoints before entering the building. This is the box office.
So it's interesting. The venues don't house that many people. And do they show shows concurrently? Like one in each venue? Because that's only 2,600 plus 1,500, under 5,000 people total. Which is interesting when you think of going to shows or sporting events and things like that. It can sometimes be overwhelming, the amount of people, right? And especially if the architecture is not well designed, like exiting and entering can sometimes be a bit of a grind. I saw a show in Toronto recently, at Rogers Center or Rogers Place, whatever. It's where the Toronto Blue Jays play. And I think there was about 55,000 people, something like that. And it was certainly a bit of a scramble getting out of there. But I find the hockey arena in Vancouver to be very nice, very well designed for entering and exiting, and so many different entrances and exits that it makes it pretty efficient.
Foyer. You can hang out in the lounge here, or you can make your way to the Benelong restaurant here, entering the restaurant through these stairs. Here's the box office to buy your tickets, the gift shop, and this is the Utzon room, which was named after Jorn Utzon, who we saw earlier in this video. This room can be used for smaller concerts or gatherings. The room can fit up to 200 people inside. From the box office foyer, you can enter either of the two largest venues.
Foyer.
Let's start with the concert hall. This is the concert hall's southern foyer. You can buy a snack or a drink.
Is it foyer or foyer?
Here, and make your way around either side to find your seats. At the other side is the concert hall northern foyer. Many fancy events have been hosted here. If you make your way down the stairs, there is also a fancy bar underneath. Now, getting into the Jones Sutherland Theatre is very similar. Up the stairs or escalator into the southern foyer, there's walkways around either side to get to your seats. And there's another northern foyer here as well. It's just a little bit smaller than the one in the concert hall.
Yeah, I think it's too bad Utzon was never able to see it, because it is quite the architectural achievement. It's super unique, right? It's so unique. Probably inspired of a lot of architecture projects around the world. And when you think of really unique and memorable architecture projects, Sydney Opera House is definitely up there. It's just so recognizable.
There's a lift or elevator here to allow access to each level. And another bar at the bottom.
They don't believe how toxic this
A lot of bars. That's good. I would be spending a lot of time at the bars.
stuff like this, but
Now, I haven't shown this with animation, but I do want to mention that the Sydney Opera House has gone to great lengths to ensure that the building is very accessible. There are plenty of lifts for those in wheelchairs or those who can't take the stairs. The Sydney Opera House also has a lot more smaller venues inside. Let's first look underneath the concert hall.
Damn. Okay. Yeah, I was wondering.
This is called the Western Foyer.
Holy.
There are doors here, but to
more
enter,
venues?
you'll have to go underneath the covered concourse. Remember, we got into the box office foyer from one of these entrances. But if you go through this door, you'll come into the Western Foyer. So we have three smaller venues here: the Drama Theatre, Studio, and Playhouse. The Drama Theatre can hold up to 544 seats.
Nice.
A perfect venue for smaller plays or gatherings. This is the Studio, which has very flexible seating arrangements. It can fit a maximum of 600 people inside.
Nice.
The Playhouse has seating for 398 people.
And I guess all of these venues are soundproof and can play shows concurrently, so you're not going to hear one of the other shows.
There's another room here on the north end called the Center for Creativity. It is a space for kids and families to learn more and have hands-on creative experiences. This opened in the year 2022. There's one more venue right below the Jones Sutherland Theatre. These are known as the Yalamundi Rooms, perfect for private gatherings of up to 400 people. The word Yalamundi means storyteller, which again pays tribute to the Gadigal people. There's obviously more rooms in the building that aren't generally for the public. Plenty of offices, rehearsal and backstage rooms, and places for maintenance. So if you ever find yourself in Sydney, Australia, come see this beautiful building for yourself. If you've made it this far in the video, then you enjoy learning new things. Brilliant.org is the best way to learn math and
So it's just an incredible center for the creative arts. You know, an epicenter within Sydney for creatives. And I loved that the song, I can't remember the title of it, but Tim Minchin, I think was the songwriter, and it was about the daringness and like the taking those risks and being a creative person. You know, it takes a lot of balls a lot of the times, right? You got to have courage to do that stuff. You got to dare to dream. It's not easy. Not a lot of times you're going to fall on your face, but if you don't try, and collectively, if we don't try, we don't really know what we're going to be missing, right? Oh, great. He does a whole series of what's inside iconic spaces like Statue of Liberty and Big Ben. But yeah, Sydney Opera House, I think it's a triumph. Architecture, creativity, and a place that will live on probably for a very, 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 very long time. Pretty cool. Let me know what shows you've seen there. If you've seen any, like maybe you saw Wu-Tang Clan. I would love to go there for a show. Absolutely. I love going to live music. I haven't really been to many plays. I've been to a few, but it's not really my thing. But I do love live music. It's such a great communal and just exhilarating thing to be a part of. And I have Wu-Tang Clan and the opener is Run the Jewels. That's in June. And then July, I'm going with my wife to see Katy Perry. I don't know who's opening for that. It'll be fun. Yeah, it'll be fun. And I don't think anything else at the moment we have lined up. But yeah, good stuff. All right, see you all soon.